Welcome to Secrets from the Scene, a show for local musicians who want to improve their music, grow their audience, and learn about Minnesota's music scene. If you're interested in talking about all things music related and meeting interesting people from our local community, you're in the right place. Welcome to Secrets from the Scene. My name is Stephen Helvig, and I'm your host. Today, I've got Dani and Nicole from Tumbling Rock Magazine, a Twin Cities-based print magazine covering our local Twin Cities music scene. I'm excited to talk about how the magazine got started, why print in a digital age, and what they're celebrating and covering in the magazine. Please welcome Dani and Nicole.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for making time.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for letting us
Got
be
nothing
here.
but time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk right away about your guys' background. One of you can kind of start with a little bit of the origin story.
Sure, yeah. So I am Dani from Minnesota, White Bear Lake, and the whole Tumbling Rock thing kind of started because Nicole and I actually, how we met was in a band, and part of our band merch was like gag items. So I would make like fake Pokemon cards and fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was bored at work one day and was like, ooh, what if we made a fake Rolling Stone magazine? And that kind of snowballed into just a fake cover to a fake 4-pager to, I think it was the second magazine we made. We would pass them out at merch shows, or we'd pass them out at shows as merch, and the other bands started coming to us. They're like, that's really cool. Can we be in it? Like bands we were playing with. So that snowballed into us doing or planning to do it for every bill. Sadly, the band broke up by the third time we were planning to do it. I still felt bad that we had this whole magazine. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to the show anyway. We're not playing it. I'm going to give it to these bands. They were really psyched about it. At that point, a few of our friends who were in other bands started reaching out. They're like, hey, can you make one for us? And now this is about a year and some change later, and it's grown into kind of way beyond what I even thought was possible for a print magazine. So that's kind of how it started, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And you guys met playing in a band.
Yes.
How did that start?
The band itself.
Yeah.
So I lived with I lived in a house with 3 other people, all roommates. And one of the people that was living there eventually found out that I played bass guitar, and he's always wanted to start a band. So he was like, oh, Nicole, let's start a band. Let's do it. And I said, why not? I've always wanted to try the same thing. And so why not give it a go and see if we can actually get a band going? We recorded a few demos, and then we're trying to find drummers. We found one that didn't quite work out. And then there's an app, bandmates, that he had downloaded and reached out to Dani. We went over to her parents' place. She was living with her parents at the time. And in their garage, they have like this
Makeshift studio.
Yeah. And, we played, we jammed, and huzzah, band formed, I guess you could say.
And are you guys now in a band again together?
Yeah. We're still in a band together. Different band, though.
And what's that band?
This band is called Maelstrom in the Harbor. We abbreviate it to Myth. So if you see any bills with Myth, that's us.
Yeah, Maelstrom in the harbor, not at the harbor.
Yes.
Originally at the harbor, however, that abbreviates to math. And math, nah.
No.
So Myth.
I like it. Let's start kind of with, I think one of the biggest questions is, why print?
So that was kind of a result of my job. I work in print production right now. And it was just, again, like a joke. I wasn't planning to make this into a huge zine that it is today. But I've always been kind of drawn to like tactile stuff. Like vinyl records are coming back. CDs are coming back because we're all learning like just because it's digital doesn't mean it's there forever, contrary to what the internet will tell you. And unfortunately, when our band, the previous band we were in, went under, the lead singer decided to just delete everything. So unless you had like a shirt of ours or one of the early zines, there was no evidence that this band ever existed. And just knowing like how important merch is to some bands and how difficult it is to get it because it can be pretty like the cost barrier, being able to do the zine through my work, we're able to like kind of get around some of the costs a little bit. Like obviously there's still some we have to pay for, but it's not like as
It's not marked up
demanding
as
as it would
much,
be.
yeah.
Yeah. And it just like the whole idea of having something physically in your hand, like I've just always liked that. Like I'm an artist. I like to draw on paper. Like I have the iPad. I've drawn on the iPad, but I always come back to paper. Like it's just nice to be able to hold it and be like, I did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the why print question is such a good question because, I remember growing up and my mom would take me shopping and she would be like, all right, you play here, just sit here. And it's the magazine aisle. And, there's nothing going on. And she would just leave me there for minutes at a time. My young brain thinks it was hours, but probably realistically like 5 or 10 minutes. But, I would be there and I'd look through these magazines. And I think a part of that probably stuck with me into adulthood because, even things like, GameStop had Game Informer, which is just a video game magazine, which has
R.I.P.
since, rest in peace, has since gone under. Most of my memories are with things that I have held. And I don't know if that's, a uniquely me thing, that I feel so much more drawn to physical objects versus like DLC or, flipping through a portfolio on a website because to me, I think I spend more time reading something that I'm holding physically in front of me versus like I'll skim it on a website and I'll hit next a lot faster.
Yeah.
It's just the physicality of it, I think, speaks more to people. It fills kind of a void that has gone. I want to say companies have gone digital out of convenience and are still charging people for digital content as though it were physical content, where and that's created a void, I think, in general. That's my main point. There's a void in what's going on, and physicality is the cure.
Well, I mean, it's certainly a less transient experience if you're
Mhm.
holding something versus just flipping through pages on a website
Right.
or on social media or whatever. It's so easy to just go to the next thing. Although it's easy to turn the page in a magazine too, of course, but maybe it's just simply nostalgic for some
Yeah.
people too.
I think that plays a
Um,
lot into it. I think like, especially kind of older crowds are like way into the zine when they find out that it's physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you growing up with the magazine aisle and your mom, but did you grow up with reading magazines? I mean, was that
my mom always had like the People magazines and all those subscriptions, and then my other like saving grace, I hated The Dentist, but what did The Dentist always have? Highlights. So it was just like staving, like just trying to delay the inevitable. Like I gotta find
Yeah.
Waldo or whatever. So, I mean, other than that though, like no, not really. I didn't have. I was kind of on that tail
Sure.
end of when magazines started falling off.
Yeah. Have you, now that you started one though, have you like gone and looked at magazines more?
Yeah, kind of. I'm definitely, I don't know if it's because I'm doing one now. I'm seeing a lot more local zines,
Yeah.
or if we kind of kickstarted something and people are starting to make more. I honestly couldn't tell you, but I'm seeing a lot more local zines, which I'm so stoked about.
Well, I mean, like, which is great. That's a good point. But what I was saying is like, have you gone and like read
No, yeah,
some-
that was
some
my
Rolling
point. Was I'm
Stones,
like,
you
it's
know,
making me want to go like Musemag, for example, another local zine. I was like, oh, I could like kind of flip through it. I think they have them at like Cadence, but no, I'm like kind of going out of my way to be like, I want this because it's almost like collecting them now, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Tumbling Rock, Rolling Stone, obviously,
Yeah.
you know,
Most people don't put that together.
playing it really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys know about Rolling Stone? Was that just totally, I just know the name and I don't, nothing
Well,
else? Or
yeah.
Were you a fan?
A little bit of both. Like I knew of Rolling Stone. I've like part of one of my classes was I had to like cut apart a Rolling Stone and like remake like a collage with it for some design class. But other than that, it's like I was just like music magazine. What do I know? Rolling Stone. Like
Yeah.
again, I was just trying to make a stupid joke and
Yeah.
I think Rolling Stone and other media similar to that, like MTV, rest in peace as well. I think those kinds of things have strayed away from what made them great. Personally, no, it's not a shot. I'm not trying to take shots at Rolling Stone here, but it's just when you can compare from 20 years to what things are now, there are similarities, but the hard pivot is there, and whether that's a selling out thing, whether that's
cost effective.
cost, yeah, I don't know.
I think there's probably multiple reasons.
yeah.
And I think you could say that about pretty much every media outlet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
has-
it gets
has
very difficult.
Massively pivoted for lots of reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like it. it doesn't rub me the right way.
I remember when Rolling Stone announced that they're no longer physical, and I'm like, you're a magazine, isn't that kind of your whole thing? It just didn't feel right. Like, again, not taking shots, but it's just like if you're calling yourself a magazine and you're not, I guess maybe the definition of a magazine has changed since we're in this digital age. And but still, like, if you're going to be a magazine, I think it should be a physical magazine.
You're a blog at that point.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, we haven't actually talked about what Tumbling Rock is. You know, for people that have never heard of you, give us a breakdown of what is this magazine? Who's it for? What's in it? What can they expect?
So I would say, what is Tumbling Rock? Tumbling Rock is what is Minnesota. You know, when you're looking at artisan culture, when you're looking at music as a whole, when you're trying to see what's going on in this scene, we wanted to make that the destination. So for the person out there who is very interested in local music, whether they've been here for a long time or they're moving in, you know, like me, I was from New Jersey. I've only been in Minnesota for like 5 years, but I love music. So what are the bands to go see? There's no real like curated list online. It's, you know, local stuff it's local. You need to kind of know someone or
Yeah, that
find
seems
a place to go.
Seems to be most people's like reason for not going to local shows is they just don't know anybody.
Right.
And that's kind of what Tumbling Rock was in its whole meant to be. It was just like, we're going to showcase 5 or 6 bands in one magazine, and if you jive with one of them, here's their Instagram, go check them out. Oh, look, they have a show, go check them out. Oh, you have 4 other bands on this bill, I like that band. And then you just kind of rabbit hole a little bit.
Because like the idea, you know, you find these, right now we're located in a lot of like coffee shops and local venues. So our idea is you're in line for this, you see a Tumbling Rock on the side, we don't charge for them, you pick one up, take it home with you, or read it on the spot and put it back. But then you discover through the magazine some awesome photographers, some novelists, a new food spot, a bunch of local bands that maybe drive with what genre you are. And we always try to talk about what type of music they are, or what type of music they're making, what artists they're influenced by, things like that. So maybe you don't off the rip know exactly if you're going to like them, but if they have enough of your common interests and similarities, maybe you'll go check them out. And that's one new fan. As someone who plays in a band, I'm elated. You know, just I love seeing people come in. Like every new fan means the world to us.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we can help contribute to finding one new fan for a band, that's a success, I think.
Yeah, it's one more
Yeah.
person in your crowd.
Okay, so outside of band features, what else is in the magazine?
A lot of it's mostly centered around musicians, but a lot of things that kind of dip their toes into that, whether it's photographers. We have featured, I want to feature more, but like Nordic Dogs, he's like a culinary hot dog kind of guy, pops up at metal shows and at breweries. We've featured some like breweries, we've done like cafes, places that have a tie to music in one way or another. Or there's like a couple different, I guess I'd call them companies. I don't really know what I'd call them, but like North Star and the Scene Projects, they kind of specialize in bringing musicians together. And I think North Star does like a bill a week at Midway Saloon. It's like they put together like anywhere from like 5 to 10 bands on a bill and just kind of make connections that way. Scene Projects does podcasts with local bands and it kind of makes connections that way. Who else have we featured? We featured a lot of people.
No, we've also just been talking to people like Beers with Bands.
Yeah, Beers with Bands, another
People like
podcast.
that, yeah. Just in general, it's just a celebration of just what the scene has to offer. Zach
Yeah.
Baker, novelist and also musician.
And poet. Nen, we've done some of their poems.
Yeah, poetry.
Trying to think. I want to
Beware
get
the
kind
Photographer.
of, yeah, Beware Photographer.
Katie Kelly. Girl at the Rock shows. Like I can.
Is it pretty much all features? Are you doing straight up editorials ever? Like, do you cover subjects just as a writer?
You do. You've kind of dipped your toes a little bit with
Yeah.
that.
So like, it's hard to say like what you consider to be a editorial. So I do like album reviews.
Okay.
So as the magazine, you know, we'll listen to some new releases, singles, albums, sometimes by request. Sometimes it's just, I want to talk about this. I've done a couple of opinion pieces. I did one.
AI.
Yeah, AI.
Its place in the scene.
Where how we're seeing a lot of, or at least we were, a lot of venues using AI to create bill flyers.
Like, yeah.
And I think that's quite problematic. I understand it from the cost perspective. There's a whole write-up about it. I think it's like issue 10 or 11, but it's, you know, my take on that. Another one was the price of merch at bigger shows. You know, you're looking at like $60 for a t-shirt in some instances, 90 for a hoodie. I have my opinions on that as well in the magazine. So I've definitely branched out into the editorial space.
Okay. I have so many other questions. First of all, it's not just you two doing the magazine. Who else is a part of the team?
So we're currently we're a small team. Two of us are kind of the main actual making the magazine itself, but we have Katie Kelly, a photographer, and just I think she's in 2 bands right now.
Event coordinator.
Yeah, she's our event coordinator. She helps us set up, like, we do this thing. We're trying to make it a yearly thing called Mayhem, where we do like a 3-day festival sort of thing. And she has so many connections. She's able to help us pull some kind of heavy hitters on those bills. And Girl at the Rock Shows, or Gator, as I like to call her.
Yeah.
She's a like blogger. I swear is at least one show a night somehow. Like does all these amazing write-ups. So we both of them have a spread in each zine. I guess how long? Katie's been with us for a while.
And Gators is 2 issues.
2 issues, yes. And it kind of varies. There we kind of just give them their, like free reign what they want to do with their spread. So for Katie, sometimes it's just photos, sometimes it's specifically one show, and she'll do a whole write-up about it. Sometimes it's spotlighting one artist. And then Girl at the Rock Show.
I remember that.
Yeah, she did gear rundown, like for photographers, like this is what I use, this is the settings I try to shoot with. But yeah, they kind of get their, like, they get to do whatever they want, really. I'll just print it.
Yeah, and they're phenomenal. Like, they are invaluable assets. You know, we say, like, you know, we're the main kind of thing for running it, but at the same time,
we wouldn't be where we are without them.
No chance. We would not be here if it weren't for those two. They are fantastic individuals, and I am thankful every day for them to, you know, come along with us on the wild ride that is Tumbling Rock.
How often are editions coming out?
So they come out monthly. We try to aim for the last Friday of every month. Sometimes maybe like one day after, so the Saturday.
Yeah, sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, it's definitely.
There isn't like a official release date. It's just.
But it's generally monthly.
Yeah, 100% monthly. Yeah. It's just the specific day it comes out is usually trying to aim towards the final Friday.
Where can somebody get a copy of Tumbling Rock?
You can get Tumbling Rock at Bigwood Brewery, Cadence Cafe, Pillar Form, Clash Drums / Coffee, Duck Coffee, Underground Music Cafe. And then you can also either subscribe to our Patreon and get one sent to you monthly, or you can buy a single issue on our website. And that,
what does an issue cost?
I believe it's $2 right now.
So yeah, we only charge, we don't make any money on Tumbling Rock. We want to make that perfectly clear.
Very clear.
Like, we opened up the ability to buy them online because people, you know, we realized that some people just don't live around here. And some people's family want to read the coverage of, you know, their loved one.
We also feature some bands that aren't even in Minnesota.
Yeah, we have out-of-state and international features as well. So we want to make sure that it's able to be purchased that way. So we charge $2 for the actual zine itself, which is cost. That's how much it costs to make that. And then $5 flat rate shipping, which a lot of the cases is either a 2-cent profit or like a 30-cent loss.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So that's what it costs. $2 and $5. So one copy about like $7.50 after tax.
So if it's not for profit, you guys don't do any advertising in the magazine?
We're starting to look into that.
Okay.
Advertising is so. It's such a loose way. We don't advertise in the sense that's like, you know, buy this new Raycon earbuds, right? Like, you know, we're not necessarily dipping our toes into that, but it's more some venues want to advertise what they're doing. And so to give them more space on there, you know, it's already something directly relevant to what we do. It's directly tied into the scene. So it's, yeah, we can advertise that for you and then we'll work out whatever. But it's not something that feels like an ad. I never wanted, and I'm sure, you know, we both, we don't want it to ever feel like you're having to, I wish I had real life ad block plus.
Yeah.
Sure. It's kind of like, I mean, if it's relevant to the scene, it's just like an extension of personal ads, but in the print world.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like some of them want their venue calendars. I think we were talking about, there was like Cadence Fest was potentially.
Yeah. Bigwood as well. They have
Bigwood, yeah. Just
events
that are more than just your average like show on a Tuesday night.
Okay, cool. What were the biggest challenges when you first got started with it?
My sanity.
The biggest challenges, from my perspective at least, are, you know, I've never done this as a living, so getting into the groove of writing for something that maybe I don't have that much of a connection towards. Because just for an example, let's say someone out there is a country artist. Now, I'm not very into country. I don't really, jive with the music. No, for no real reason. It's just, not my cup of tea.
Mhm.
But that doesn't take away from the effort and all of the love that artist put into that song, title, track, EP, LP, whatever.
Yep.
So when I write for them, or when I write for that artist, I have to think about, if I was a diehard fan of this genre, what parts of this am I loving? And it's that separation of myself into, from just my personal likes and interests to my writing likes and interests.
Yeah.
And it's almost like having to create not a split personality. I don't want to put it so like deep, but you do have to separate, your personal from your professional feelings.
You have to be objective.
Right. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I write from the perspective of what is the best of this song. Like, yeah. And that was kind of challenging at first.
Well, that was another question I had was, how often are you covering stuff that you're already fans of? And how often are you covering things that you were like, it was just submitted?
I'd say it's 50-50.
Yeah, probably 50-50.
Like a lot of it, at least that I'm finding, is the more we do this, the more I realize I didn't even know that was a genre, and let alone like kind of its own scene happening around. So it's kind of like I don't know it and I'm not 100% into it, and then I like give it a chance and I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. So
Well, that was another follow-up question for me is what genres are you covering? Is there stuff that you're like, no, we don't do that? Or is it everything?
We don't
No,
have
everything,
any
yeah.
restrictions. I would say what's popular right now is kind of like the hardcore stuff going on. We're getting a lot of metal submissions too, and just all around alternative, I would say, is the majority of what we cover, but we are purely submission based. We're not going out of our way to track down, like obviously there's artists I want to cover, but just based off of how many people are submitting to us, it's like, okay, well, these people clearly want to be in the zine, so let's deal with them first. And I don't want to say deal with them, that kind of sounds mean, but it's just,
let's work with them.
Yeah, let's work with them. Yeah, it's purely submission based, so it's really anybody who sends us stuff we're covering.
Yeah, we've only ever had to turn away a handful of people, like 2 people, quite literally.
Yeah.
And it was one of the people told us they stole parts of their music from other artists.
Flat out said one of the songs was stolen.
Yeah,
like
okay, I don't want to name names or anything, but it's like, when you tell us like, hey, some of this is not actually mine, like I can't like in good faith put you in this magazine and say it's yours. That's just not going to happen. But generally speaking, we don't really turn anyone away for genre or anything along those lines. Like nothing really.
Do you guys have a certain balance or ratio you're aiming for between local and non-local?
Yes and no. I mean, for the most part, we're going to cover local or try to like keep local as like the main features. We haven't gotten too many non-local submissions, but I would say max we try to do like 2 out-of-state bands in an issue because, again, we want to just focus on the Minnesota scene and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some crossover. Like we featured some people who are touring from like Wisconsin or coming through Minnesota. And then we've had some bigger bands like from Florida. We've covered someone from Japan. Like we're kind of all over the board, but I would say 2 max in an issue.
I know that one of the main questions people are going to have when they're listening to the episode is, how do I get into the magazine? What does the submission process look like? What are you looking for?
Submission process. What you have to do, this is grueling. Sorry about this to anyone listening, but what you have to do is go to the website. You have to click Contact Us and then Feature Request. And you have to put your name and who you are and then hit Submit.
How dare you
Yeah.
have such
It's
high
a
standards?
lot.
It's a lot.
Multiple clicks involved. So I understand that could be difficult.
You'd be
but
surprised how many people DM us, though, about it.
Yeah. Moving from that point, once we've reached out, because normally, it comes through our inbox that you're interested. One of us will reach out through email and then, questions go back and forth. And then generally speaking, we just email you like a list of questions. A lot of time we try to cater to what you're doing. So if you have a new release coming out, we try to, point our questions towards that release. If it's more general, just, hey, we're a band. We
Like a
wanted to get our name out.
Yeah.
We'll do a get to know you kind of thing. But that's when it becomes a little bit more involved. But the first outreach is 3 clicks and like a couple keystrokes.
And then check your spam box.
Yeah.
Because we've had a few bands, because we'll get the email and then it usually takes us like maybe a week or two to like hit them back with the response email like, hey, are you still interested? Or thank you for your interest. And then we'll get silence. So, and we've had a few bands reach out and be like, hey, we never got our email. And I'll forward it to you. I don't care. I'm not going to resend it. But yeah, just be on top of it would be my biggest suggestion, because we've had a few bands get kind of angry at us about it. And I mean, it is what it is. But yeah.
What makes for a good interview? Like, what are your biggest tips, do's and don'ts for people if they're going to do a feature with Tumbling Rock, or anybody for that matter?
From the writing perspective, the best thing you could probably do to get as good of a coverage as you could possibly want is to be very, very thorough. I don't know you. People who are reading don't know you. Likely they're someone's mom, right? We don't know. So for me, us, anyone to be able to adequately cover you, you really need to go and explain from the ground up, who are you? Why do we need to listen to you? Who's in your band? What are your names? What kind of genre are you? One word or one sentence, two sentence answers don't really get there. And it doesn't make for a story. I want to know, every band has some story. I don't believe there's a band out there who doesn't have that back pocket story of that one time where we did that one thing. Please. So that's what I want to hear. If you think it's cringy, that's probably a good thing. It's not like we're going to feel related to that. We're going to see you as human. It's not that we're going to, you said that one thing on the mic. Now I don't want to listen to you, right? People aren't doing that. They're going to relate to you. So that would be my suggestion. Just be super thorough with people you're talking to.
And on that point, I think, especially if you're going to be doing more interviews as your career develops, and you should practice.
Mm-hmm.
You should practice a little bit.
Right.
If you feel really uncomfortable with it, don't just expect that you can go in and wing it.
Yeah.
You probably need to think about what that story is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, names and genre and all the facts are important, but better yet, weave them into something that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because just saying, my name is Steven, I play this kind of boring.
Yep.
Super boring.
Yep.
Like, weave it into something that's a little bit more rounded and can tell the readers something worth reading.
Well, yeah, that was kind of what my point was going to be, was the article is only as good as the answers you give us. So if you give us one-word answers or incomplete sentences, or like not even, like, we've had people not even give us their full names. Like, I'm not going to be able to tell people about you if I don't even know your last name. Like, granted, maybe you don't want us to know your last name, but I figured if you're in a magazine, you probably do.
Yeah.
Just so people could find you a little easier. But just be thorough is kind of the main thing about it.
There's some other stuff too that I would definitely recommend for people to do. Any artist who has a bio of any kind, whether that's on Spotify, whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on Apple Music, whatever medium you're choosing to go with, put a link tree if you have one.
Yes.
I need to be able to find you. There are some times where I've tried to write on bands or cover bands and I can't find them. I am aware of their existence, and I am trying to type them into a search, and I still can't find them.
Yeah.
So you have to be as publicly visible as possible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one, if I can't purposefully find you, people are not going to accidentally find you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'll take that one step further. You should have a full-on press kit. You should have
Yeah,
a
an
website.
EPK is very
You should have
needed.
an EPK. Make everybody's lives easier. Have press photos ready to go. Have a professional bio written.
Yeah, I would say the photos thing for sure.
Yeah, and if that feels like a lot of work, it is.
Well,
It
also,
is.
like, if you don't have it, maybe you're not quite ready to be in a magazine.
Exactly. Like, to that point, the amount of people I've asked, and this is not a shot. I don't want to take anyone, or rather, I don't want anyone to take this as a shot, but the amount of people I've asked for an EPK, they say, hey, we have this new release coming out, dropping next month. We'd be so excited for you to cover this. I'm like, awesome. Can you send me an EPK? We don't have one. Okay.
Right.
So
do you want me to go take pictures of you so I can put this in the magazine?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we
Right.
need photos. We need professional
now,
ones.
potentially, this is a learning moment. Maybe they don't know what an EPK is. I don't think I might have when I started in music. Granted, this was a long time ago, but it's that's one thing that I think is super, super necessary and underthought. People don't think about EPKs
What
as
does
much as they should.
EPK stand for?
Electronic Press Kit.
Thank you.
And it's Maddie Theus is a great example of someone who does this phenomenally well. We've mentioned Zach Baker already, but Zach has done this for us before.
They just make it so easy for us to do our job that we don't even have to ask questions half the
Yeah,
time.
they email us one email and I'm like, all right, that's literally everything I needed. But there's no back and forth. There's no, I understand people. We have, a lot of things that we are dealing with. I'm sure bands do as well. But the less email back and forth, the faster we can get you in an issue.
Make sure your
easier
Google
coverage.
photos aren't on private or your drive isn't private.
Or add an exception or something. But
I think I'd rather you have too much than not enough because it's just going to make it that much easier
There's
for
no
me.
such thing as too much.
Sometimes deciding who is on the cover comes down to who has a photo in that format, because there have been times when I only get one landscape photo from every band and it's like, I guess I can try to Photoshop this into a portrait photo, but at least give me an option.
Yeah, put yourselves in the shoes of the people that you're communicating with, that you're applying to be featured with. You guys are only going to get busier and busier and have more and more submissions. And you're absolutely going to do the same thing that every other media outlet turns to, which is, okay, we've got 200 good options here. How do we pick the next one to fit?
Who stands out?
Who stands out and who's also ready to go?
Yeah.
Like, this article's going to write itself. Everything in here is brilliant.
Yep.
All the stuff they sent us is good. All the photos are great. All the links are here. Everything's good to go. I don't have to work so hard to make this work.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one that gets featured.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's just the reality of the world.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to go dig deep on the internet to just even find somebody, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't want to say unfortunately, but in those circumstances, we still try to make it work with what we can. I don't know how other bands really see our features. I don't know if they're happy with how they were written on or if they're upset or anything along those lines. I would like to assume that they're all very pleased with how we covered them.
Yeah,
but
we haven't gotten too many angry.
Yeah, not too
things.
many. But I just worry that, I don't know, it's always going to be a worry, just from a content creator's perspective. We're always our harshest critic.
Yeah.
So it's always a worry. The overall takeaway from this is less is not more. More is less. Always put more, because we always want more. The more content we can consume from you, the more info we have from you,
the more accurate the album or the more accurate the article will be.
Yeah.
And when it comes to EPKs, if you're now convinced that you want to work on it but you don't know where to start, we do have a full episode on just packaging your pitch, which is with David Ostrom. And we go over everything in an EPK, what needs to be in there, what to leave out, what makes it stand out, everything you need to know. There's also another great episode 51 with Krista Valinsky's, who's a music publicist. And so we touch on EPKs there as well. So there's tons of good information. If you don't know where to start, those are 2 episodes you should definitely check out, because it will make a huge difference with whether or not you're going to get that feature.
Yeah.
All right. So you're putting out a monthly magazine. You're not charging for it. Why?
I mean, it's a couple of things. For one, everybody is like scraping by right now. There's so little extra fund money that people have. I don't want to be the one to take that from you. We have the ability right now to produce this magazine at a low enough cost for us that I'm okay eating the cost. And thankfully, with our Patreon, we are now able to essentially break even.
Good.
Yes. So thankfully, we have some people, they're all named in our magazine. Our VIP sponsors are able to help keep this free for, I think we're doing like 70 issues right now, or 70 actual print issues per release. So we have like a handful of people kind of covering the cost so that nearly 100 people are able to enjoy this magazine for free. I think the cost of it is a big hurdle for people. Like, if you were to go out to let's say a coffee shop and you were to pick up like a Thrasher magazine, it's $10. I don't want to pay for that. Like, I'm just going to throw it back on the table, versus this is free. I'm going to take this even if I don't want it. Like, yeah, I want a free magazine. And sometimes that's all it takes. And I think that's cool. Like, a free magazine is unheard of in today's kind of society.
I agree. I mean, I think it's admirable and a great way to get things started. But my personal worry is it something that you can keep up forever? Because it does take a ton of work to do, and at some point, do you need to be compensated for your time?
I mean, it's a tough way to. It's a tough balancing act because to me, I very much enjoy the concept of just giving a platform to all of these very, very talented artists for no cost. There are so many magazines out there, local mags that I've seen pop up that they do charge, whether that's $10, $20, and then after tax or shipping, maybe a little bit more. And I just can't justify it personally. I'm sure other people buy them, enjoy them, they love them. But for me, I can't enjoy that content because, just the times are just not it. It's hard to kind of be surviving out there. And if I was the difference, like as Tumbling Rock, if our content is the difference in someone's life between like they really wanted to get a coffee, but they wanted to get Tumbling Rock instead, while I am humbled by that, I would feel guilty. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to take away something for you to enjoy what we're offering. I want you to enjoy this while being able to enjoy life. And it's why we don't want to pivot into like obnoxious ads. It's why we don't want to pivot into negative or what's the
gotcha journalism.
Gotcha journalism. Yeah, we don't. That's not our market. This scene thrives on everyone
DIY.
lifting each other up. Yeah, this DIY scene is fantastic. It's probably the best in the United States. And so I can't justify charging for that. Now, to your point though, can you sustain this?
Yeah.
No, it's not sustainable. But it's that's why we leverage Patreon, for the people who do have that extra income, for the people who can buy our Tumbling Rock zine and their coffee.
And I think potentially you'll find the right kind of sponsors.
Yeah.
Fit the culture and fit the goal of the magazine that can also, help keep the thing going.
Well, yeah, and kind of building off your point, you're getting into music for money, you're in the wrong industry. So many people go do so much, and they like just locally, I think probably from age 19 to like 22, every song that I listened to on Spotify was everybody was in like 50 miles of me. And it's just crazy the amount of talent that is going like almost unrecognized kind of. And they're just doing it because they love it out of the goodness of their heart. They enjoy doing it. And for us to be able to kind of give back with the platform that we've built and for free, no less, I would feel guilty having to charge for a magazine when I know I can make it for free.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think it's admirable, but I also think that there's benefit to keeping it going.
Yeah.
So, just make sure that you're...
We'll cross that bridge when we get
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah, that's not
Exactly.
like if push comes to shove, there will be a major discussion, but we're going to keep it as it is for as long as we can.
With all that said, if there's any potential sponsors listening to this
Yeah,
podcast,
if you got money,
I mean, we can work out a deal.
Yeah.
I'm just, hey.
All right, let's go through some just sort of rapid fire stuff since you guys have, you're so integrated into the scene. You're learning and getting to know so many different bands and places and people. What's your favorite venue right now in the Twin Cities?
Rapid fire.
A rapid fire, probably Pillar Forum.
I think Clash. I really like Clash.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, Clash is a close second, though.
How about a band that you think needs to get some more attention?
Far, far away.
Mary Jam.
Oh, Mary Jam. That's a good one.
Do you want us to expand on any of this?
No, we'll go through them. We'll go through them quick, and then if we want to expand on them later, we could. But what about a recent album you'd recommend?
Well, it's a single, but Anita Velveeta just put out a single called Blood Sports. That's a really good one. Yes.
Giant Knife put out a record.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
can't recall the name of the record off the top of my head, but Giant Knife put out a bomb record that I think everyone should listen to.
We'll try to find them and link it up. What about one thing you'd do differently if you started over?
I would try to get more into DIY, I think. Are you talking like the magazine? Oh, shit. You go. I don't know.
Oh, man, I was listening. I was
Oh.
thinking. What was the question?
Something you would do differently
Differently?
if you started over.
I don't know,
Goodness.
because it's all fun. Like, we're all figuring this out as we go.
I don't think I would have done anything differently.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, there was one podcast that we did with Beers with Bands, and we had just done this after recording our live sessions and podcast, and I messed up with remembering our audio engineer, Jason Mitchell, his name. I couldn't remember his name in that podcast, and we did that podcast
In April.
In April, I still think about that because I felt so bad that I couldn't remember his name. Jason Mitchell, fantastic
Jason
audio
Mitchell.
engineer. But Jason Mitchell.
Jason Mitchell.
He's in a band making amazing music. He does amazing engineering work. If I could do it all over, I would make myself remember his name.
I don't know.
Well, you made it up to him today.
Yeah.
I hope so. I love you.
I don't even know what I'd do differently. Maybe I would not make it 8.5 by 11. Maybe I'd make it a smaller zine so it'd feel a little bit thicker. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, that, was something I meant to bring up earlier that we never talked about, which is you guys have a few other things going on besides the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the other, whether it's events, podcasts, all the other sort of things that are associated with Tumbling Rock.
What do you want to cover?
I'll cover one of the biggest things we're trying to make yearly would be Mayhem Fest. I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. But essentially, Tumbling Rock unofficially started in May 2024, if I'm remembering right. That sounds right. God, it's been a long time. So, for our 1-year anniversary this past May, we did a 3-day weekender kind of thing at all three different venues that carry Tumbling Rock. And I just lost my train of thought completely. What was I talking about?
Mayhem Fest.
Mayhem
Yes,
Fest,
Mayhem.
yes. So we're trying to make it a yearly thing, and we're trying to make it kind of like a celebration of some of the just what's going on in the scene. Last year we had Anita Velveeta, we had Slut Intent, we had Virginia's Basement, Blue Driver, just these really just awesome bands that one way or another you've at least probably seen them on a bill. If you've heard them, you know who I'm talking about. And we just threw this 3-day festival at 3 different venues, 3 different nights. We had Screamo night, we had Punk night, we had Indie night. And everything, all of what we tried to make tickets as cheap as we could so more people could come. Everything, I think we were 2 tickets away from selling out Pillar Form. Everything went back to the artists. We didn't pocket any of it. We didn't want to take any of it from anybody. The venues were cool enough to be yes, here, take all of it. I think Clash specifically was give it to everybody, which again was really cool for them. But I think we want to make that bigger this year.
We also made physical tickets for that too.
Yes, we made
going
physical
into the
tickets for that.
physicality of what
Yes.
we do.
Sure.
The stubs, we did
Yeah.
physical tickets for everybody.
Yes.
Very cool. So a yearly festival of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
There's a podcast.
There
Yeah.
was a podcast.
Well,
there might be another season.
So
though.
here's the thing. We did season 1 of, it was the Tumbling Rock live sessions. So
Yes.
the way that would work was we would invite bands over. We would do a podcast similar to what we're doing today. And then after the podcast, we would record a 3-song live session. And that was really cool because, again, it's just more exposure for these people. And additionally, it's just content for music. That's kind of 3 music videos if you think about it.
Mhm.
And you don't really see that for free, really. And I really, really, really loved it. We've gotten a couple emails for season 2. Now, the main issue is when we did season 1, we did them at the garage. And the idea behind that, if anyone knows the garage, they've been
R.I.P.
around for a while, right? They went under as we were doing the podcast. Quite literally, I think after our last
we
episode.
were the last people to record.
We were
in
the
that
last people
studio.
in there. And that really, it's a bummer. But what that did was it meant we can't do this anymore because we don't have that space. And we would like to do it again. However, the investment in time,
it was
I can't
also
edit it.
we were able to strike a deal with strike a deal with the garage where we would kind of be paying for it in exposure, which again isn't really something that's feasible with most recording studios right now. So if we find a studio who's maybe able to kind of scratch our back, we'll scratch yours kind of thing, then there might be a season 2. We're in the talk with a couple studios right now, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah, we would absolutely love to do that. And forward-looking content that I would personally love to see Tumbling Rock do. I've said this before. I would really like to see musicians from the scene, maybe not just music, maybe just people from the scene doing things that are not music related. So what does that mean? Maybe it's just throwing this out there, not saying this is what it will be, but maybe it's like a game show and, it's elimination style and the grand prize wins something. Maybe it's studio time, maybe it's actual cash prize. But I think seeing people outside of just the music scene, humanizing them a little bit more. Dani with Sonic Sea Turtles, Santi with Virginia's Basement, Nen as well, Katie Kelly with basketball. I think all of these people, it would be really cool to see them just as people and doing fun tasks. Maybe it's a karaoke thing, which is kind of music adjacent, but still has some fun attached to it. Maybe it's puzzles. Maybe it's competing 1v1. I don't know what that looks like, but I like that idea, and I can't make it happen alone, which kind of ties into what she was saying with, if we ever get on board with somebody to do something together, that's definitely something I would pitch out as future Tumbling Rock stuff.
A lot of how we were able to get to where we are now is collaboration. Like, had we not had bands to cover in the zine, no one's going to read the damn thing. So now we're at a point where we kind of want to collab with like local artists. I know you were talking about maybe doing like Tumbling Rock X.
We're talking about that.
We are talking about that.
Okay.
Tumbling Rock X artist name. And again, through my work, we're kind of able to get around some of the cost of things. So if we're able to do like a limited print of a t-shirt that a local artist drew, and like X amount of the proceeds go to either like them, obviously it'd go to them, but like maybe it goes to like a charity of some sort, or this or that, or like donating it to a venue so they can get like upgrade a sound system or something. I know that's something like just overall collaboration we're trying to kind of steer into a bit.
Very cool. All right. This has been an excellent conversation. Before we wrap up, I want to ask, did I miss anything that we should definitely touch on?
Anything that
I had like a list of things before coming in here, and then as soon as we started rolling, it all just went out the window.
Yeah, that's how it
anything
works.
that we should talk about specifically?
Go to local shows,
Well,
buy merch, fight the drummer in the parking lot, go to local venues, read Tumbling Rock.
I think from a Tumbling Rock perspective, this is from two perspectives. If there's anyone who wants to be a part of what we do, please reach out. We kind of knocked DMs, but at the same time, if you don't know, you can't navigate the website for whatever reason, you could always DM us on Instagram. We're
help
out.
Pretty responsive on Instagram.
Yeah, we try to be responsive on Instagram. The problem is we can't hold long conversations there just because of the number of people who do message us there, and whether that's new or existing people that have already been speaking with us. It gets buried very fast. But if you are interested in being featured in Tumbling Rock, I would highly suggest just reach out. We're not going to turn you down. We featured Flack. It's another band. They either just graduated high school or they're graduating high school. But just to put that in perspective, that's high school, and they're making music that I haven't heard in a very long time. It's like Nirvana-esque, and I've had that on my playlist since they released it. And I think more people need to listen to them, and others like them. And they reached out, and they're in there, and I'm super thankful they did, because now I got to learn about them, and the community who reads Tumbling Rock did. So that's from the individual perspective. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, you wrapped that up really well.
From the professional perspective, like from a business perspective, if you want Tumbling Rock at your location, we are more than willing to talk to you. We don't charge venues for having Tumbling Rock there at all. This is just to build community. We try to get people in your doors because tons of people have messaged us, where do I get this? There's nothing where I live. And the more we can get into more venues, the more people who will be patrons of your establishment, and will learn about the local scene. And in turn, if you host shows, we'll attend your shows, which will earn the band's revenue and will earn yourself revenue, and all around just bolster just what the scene is. From evolutions of what we want to do, we were talking about maybe doing the live sessions again. If that's something that maybe you think you might have a hand in, or if you have an idea that
could help us out with it,
not just helps us, just if you have an idea that you want to see come to fruition and think we're the source that can make your idea happen, reach out. You never know if the next idea is the biggest one, because I'll tell you right now, 2 years ago, I didn't think I'd be sitting here talking to you about this. So things happen because we make them happen, and you can't make things happen if you don't try. So that's what I would say. Just if you want to make it happen, reach out.
Yeah.
Throw out the links that people should head to between the website, the Instagram handles. Like, where do you send people?
TumblingRockZine.com is our website, and then I think Tumbling Rock Zine is also our Instagram. I might have to check that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is Instagram the main
That's
place?
our main
Yeah,
place.
that's
That's
the main
where
source.
we do all the updates. That's when drop day comes, I will update the story. Like, okay, they're at Cadence. Okay, they're at Bigwood. Blah blah blah. So Instagram is probably going to be our most accurate, at least time wise, of where you can get it and when you can get the issue.
But yeah, TumblingRockZine.com as well. If anyone is listening who doesn't just hates Meta, doesn't want to use a platform associated with them.
Yep.
You can anything we do is also on TumblingRockZine.com. So there's no you don't miss out on anything really besides like stories and this social media stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want to see what we offer, who we are, where we are, things like that, TumblingRockZine.com has it all.
But it does not have the actual magazine itself.
Right.
We've been
Yes.
been
Physical only.
scolded by our use of the word archive.
not-
It's a cover archive. It's not the
Yeah.
actual zine itself. For that, you do have to go get it if you want it for free. Otherwise, you have to order it.
What about your Patreon?
What's that? Just Tumbling Rock
Patreon?
Zine?
Yeah, it's Tumbling Rock Zine.
Yep.
Tumbling Rock Zine.
All right.
And-
Consistent. I like it.
On Patreon, actually, it's funny because we say we are physical only. The only way you can read Tumbling Rock digitally is on Patreon.
Yes.
On our highest pledge level. And the reason for that is, one, we still want people to go get it physically. We don't want the Patreon to be the reason you don't go and help these establishments or go walk out and touch grass. We want people to really go out. But to the people who can shell out, it's $20 for our highest tier. We give you a bunch of goodies every month for that.
Yes, you
and-
get 2 versions of the zine, and you get 2 posters, the Patreon exclusive cover of the zine, and then you get some stickers. I know
Yeah.
people like stickers.
You get all of that, and then you also get the digital version on Patreon. So you can read that digitally, and you'll also have access to all the old issues as well. So it's kind of a time capsule in itself. Anyone who's interested in seeing how these old bands were covered or who these old bands are,
All the
and
spelling errors.
spelling errors. But the old issues are kind of collector's items. You can't really find them anymore.
Yeah, the first issue, I think there were 10 copies.
The
and-
first issue.
Yes, the
There was like
first issue.
7.
Well, then my dad took like 5.
But yeah, the whole point is you can't find Tumbling Rock digitally on our website. It's just on the Patreon. And it's kind of like a thank you. You've earned that luxury, I suppose, of
Yeah, yeah.
reading it. I think the way I put it every month when I upload it is you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own home, your kitchen, or on your toilet. I think is how I put it. I don't remember, but it's
Something
on
like
there
that,
somewhere.
Yeah.
An important detail.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
100%.
Worth the high tier.
Yes.
panel.
100%.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
This
us.
is great. I appreciate it. For everybody that tuned in, go check out the magazine. And if you like what they're saying, share this with a friend. Thank you for joining me here at the studio at Helvig Productions. We'll see you all next time.